93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Coppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you today, joined by Big Sky. Big Sky, what's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much. Just got one class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I get to sleep in real late.
We're going to talk about this for a little bit. So, as always, we'll do our normal text of nothing here in a second. As always, 402-464-5685. Feel free to chime into the show all hour long on the Honda of Lincoln hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Both those are open for you, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We will throw your comment up on there if you send us one as well. As always, we have to get to our first text of the day, the winner of nothing. And today, on September 2nd, the winner is Drumstick. Drumstick, congratulations. You are the winner of nothing. Okay, Big Sky. I have to get something off my chest. And I told you that I had something to get off my chest when you walked in a little bit ago.
You did, yes.
So, first of all, I could go on a rant about some classes today. I had a public speaking class today, which was interesting. But we don't need to talk about that. That's not what's bothering me. What's bothering me is what happened after. I go to the union. I go to the student union. I'm doing my agronomy homework. Yes, I'm in agronomy. It's all about landscaping. It's all about crops. It's a lot of fun because, number one, it's a 100 level class, so it's pretty easy. Number two, I get to learn how to mow a yard properly. So, come on. So I'm doing my agronomy homework, and it's about 11:15, so I go and get lunch at Valentino's in the Union. However, I get my cup from Valentino's, and I go over to the fountain machine, and it's not working. I mean, it's working, but no syrup is coming out. So it's just all carbonation. And that's when I thought to myself, I tried the Dr. Pepper, I tried the Pepsi, I tried every single pop that they had there. And they were all the same. And it all made that annoying noise when it's out of the syrup. And that's when I thought to myself, there is nothing more irritating and more annoying than when the pop machine is out of syrup.
Nothing.
I can't think of anything. So I put this out on Twitter, Nick_Sainert. I put it out on Twitter, and I said, is there anything, and I left it open. And so I don't want to quote myself wrong. So I said, is there anything more annoying than when the whole fountain machine is out of syrup? And somebody said a freestyle machine, which is one of those where you can click on it, and it, you know what I'm saying? I had to look up what it was. I was so annoying because I couldn't have pop. I couldn't get a drink. I mean, their water was working, but I paid for a drink.
I can see the annoyance here, but the most irritating thing.
Think of what text line 402-464-5685. What's something more annoying than the pop machine not working?
I'll tell you what. You don't live with roommates, so you don't know what this is like.
Nope.
So you haven't gone through an entire day.
I've lived with roommates before, though.
9:45 till midnight, working your various jobs, going to multiple classes, thinking about the one piece of food you've saved all day.
Okay.
To be the little treat you give yourself at the end of the day, and shown back up, and not had it there in the fridge waiting for you because one of your roommates ate it.
But
you've never
put your name
experienced
on
that.
it. You can put your name on it.
It doesn't matter sometimes. Okay. I live with 3 sips. Okay, just wild coyotes around food.
That's too bad.
I know.
Well, okay, so get into the text line. Let's get some on-air mowing tips. Hey, listen, man, if that's something you guys want, I can hook you guys up with that. I will say, just a disclaimer, I'm in this sports media 350 class. It's called. It's sports data and analytics. And so it's all the analytics sides of things. And it's very interesting. We're working on like coding every other day and stuff and trying to figure out how to import. Like there's a lot of cool things within it. And let me tell you guys, I will be sharing it because I will be making tons of spreadsheets on Google Sheets. I will be making a ton of graphics and stuff with data in there regarding Husker athletics. And so there will be a lot that I will be mentioning my sports data analytics class, which is very interesting. But yeah, no, we're learning about the crops right now. And there's something called arroyo berries that is made into juice and stuff. It's crazy. But all right, so back to the text line here.
I think Mark Trumbo has an exceptional point here. Wet socks are very annoying.
See, I don't think wet socks are annoying. Like, okay, time out. Let me rephrase that. I don't think they're as annoying as the pop machine being out. I feel like that's something you can get over. Now, if there's stuff on my hands, I hate things on my hands. Like gloves, I'm out on gloves. I'm out on lotion.
Even at winter?
Yeah, I'm out on lotion.
Winter?
Yep. I'm done with lotion. I can't handle it on my hands.
Why don't you just like use the lotion on whatever body part you need it and then clean your hands?
I have done that. I have. I've done it where like if when I was younger, my knuckles used to get really dry.
Yeah.
And so I would put it on my knuckles and then I would instantly have to wash my palms.
Mark Trumbo, again, great point there. Not being able to maintain his spot in the Baltimore Orioles lineup. Very aggravating.
I don't blame you at all. So, no, I'm just saying, though, like, I'm out on lotion. Like, that would maybe be the only thing. I love, like, wings. I'm a big wings guy. However, I hate dirty fingers. I hate getting my fingers dirty and messy.
I hate when it's super hot outside and you have to walk across campus and you have to sit through an hour, 15-minute class sweaty. That I just feel disgusting the entire hour.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. We get a lot of these on the text line here. Husker football is more annoying. Yes. But something maybe
I felt like that was like the low-hanging fruit of your question. Like, oh, Husker football is annoying.
I wasn't trying for that.
I know. But I just, as soon as you said it, I was like, somebody's going to say Husker football.
Mark Trumbo says hangnails and snagged fingernails. Yes, that would be understandable. Dropping a drumstick. The winner of nothing today always gets a free shout out. Dropping a quarter under your car seat where no human finger can grab it without ripping the seat out is more annoying. Are people really doing that? Are you ripping out the seat, like the whole seat, if you just for a couple of quarters? Are we doing that?
I mean, it's a quarter. That's your biggest change piece right there. That's okay. You're on your way to you're at a gumball already. You're on your way to like a carton of milk out of one of those weird vending machines that has milk. They exist, and then you're an eighth of the way to a full price 20-ounce soda. So like, yeah, absolutely going for that quarter.
I was told to hit Imperial Palace, so I told Happer this when I walked in today at like 12:30. I told Happer my horrible story. And he's like, you should have hit up Imperial Palace. I did not know Imperial Palace was so good. Like, or such a big
I think they just meant
deal.
like their soda machine.
No. He's like, you need to get the Kung Pao chicken at Imperial Palace. And he's like, I might actually go over to Imperial Palace now and get some Kung Pao chicken.
Do people eat in the Union? Is that like a thing people do?
I think so. Yeah. Yes, there are.
I've spent so little time in the Union as a student.
I used to. And then now I have this every day. It's like class from like 9:30 to 10:20. So I have this really weird break to where I come here at about 12:15 every day, maybe sometimes noon, sometimes earlier. And so I have this really like uncomfortable break between 10:30 and noon that I have nothing to do. And so I was just like, this is what I'm going to do, I suppose. So I was sitting there today and I'm like doing my agronomy homework, learning about crops and corn and winter wheat. And I'm like, this is what I have to look forward to the whole semester is doing agronomy homework and nothing else during this time. Maybe doing some public speaking, I suppose. Brian T on the text line, one of the bigger supporters of the show, always reaches out on Twitter. Brian T. Trench foot is real, Nick. Pop machine being out, ? Go drink water like you should. Wet socks, ... Hello, trench foot. Yes, but I carried around water and I drink water all the time during work.
You know what you need?
I paid for the express lunch, Mio. You're going to say
You
Mio.
need Mio. You need Mio. That takes any water experience and makes it 10 times better than a pop experience.
If you guys don't know, Big Sky is a huge Mio guy. Yesterday, he walks in to do the ticket weeknights, and I just see him just squeeze that small bottle of Mio, which that's a whole nother conversation, is how much little Mio there is in those things.
Okay, I have one of the double size ones because that's what my roommates got me for my birthday was like 5. Okay, Mark Trumbo, you've never had black cherry Mio. That is a false statement. I'm not even gonna read it. It's so false. I got one on the 2-ounce, double size ones. So it's literally just Mio 2X. That's what they call it. They used to do like double packages. Now they just do a giant little bottle thing, and that'll last me like 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah, this is what I was getting to. I'm like a cigarette addict with Mio because I started small, you know. It was still like pretty see-through water, but I just needed a bigger hit every time. I'm like becoming used to the cherry flavor, and I need a bigger hit of the Mio every time.
Cigarette addiction with Mio. That's Big Sky in a nutshell. This is unbelievable. We're getting, I don't trust Mio. Why does it taste so good? 0 calories or 0 sugar? We're having a lot of other suggestions on what's more annoying than the syrup being out on a fountain machine. Repeatedly biting the inside of your lip. Yeah, that I would agree with that.
The Mio topic does get me to another thing that's really annoying, and it's where I misjudge how much Mio I want, and I put too much in, and it gets bitter.
You can't do it.
Then I have to drink it as fast as possible, like halfway down, to add more water to dilute it again. That's pretty irritating.
What is it about? Why is Mio better than Crystal Light? Because you can get Crystal Light much cheaper.
Because Crystal Light's powder, and so it's like there's like flakes. It's floating. There's flakes floating around.
Interesting. All right. Well, that is my little rant about. We keep sending those in. We'll get to them throughout the course of the show. We are having a lot of. Brian T wants to go once again. Don't know about Mio, but the Kool-Aid squeeze things like Mio are bomb. Might last me a day if I have grape. Yeah, grape is a great flavor. There is no better flavor than grape.
I'm black cherry.
No, I'm saying, man. I think I'm on the grape train for sure. Grape popsicles. We have the popsicles in the.
I'm going straight to red every time. Straight to red on the Otter Pop every time.
Interesting. All right, so there's our little segment on UNL classes and the student union as well. Keep sending in your thoughts on what's more annoying than a pop machine being out, but I think I'm still standing firm. Not even the wet socks get me. I'm still good with everything else. Big Sky, let me ask you this: have you seen or heard about Jimbo Fisher's new contract?
Yeah, 10 years, $94.95 million.
Yeah. And so I've said this, I've told people about my little spreadsheet about the coaches before. And I just want to bring it up because I put in now the contracts for every coach from the 2017 coaching carousel. All right. So the coaches that had got the Power 5 jobs: Scott Frost, Herm Edwards, Dan Mullen, Mario Cristobal, Jonathan Smith, Jimbo, and Chip Kelly. Okay. Because this is where I think it's interesting to look at what certain programs and universities are paying their coaches in terms of the success that they've had also, right? Nebraska's been known in recent coaching staffs that they've had to pay out big sums to their coaches that they've fired or that they've let go. Obviously, Bo Pelini was one that came to mind. They had to pay Mike Riley a little bit. Stuff like that. If they let go of Scott Frost before, I think 2024, then they have to pay him $5 million. And so it's like, man, that's a big little payday there if you get fired. And so I was looking at that, and obviously I have the records here. And so Big Sky, I'll get your reaction here after I name a couple. But one that I really compare Scott Frost to at the time of when Nebraska hired him, because maybe the programs were in somewhat of a similar spot, is Herm Edwards. Obviously, there's stuff going on with Arizona State right now, but now you can say that there's a little bit of stuff going on with Nebraska in terms of NCAA investigations, even though Arizona State's are quite a bit more serious, I think. Scott Frost, we all know, $5 million. We extended him, I think, the year after that he started, a couple games in.
2019 game day.
Thank you.
Same week as game day.
Thank you. Yes. Through 2026. So $5 million through 2026. Herm Edwards, his contract is $3.4 million through 2024. Let's compare those two guys' records. Now, obviously, we know now it's 12-21 for Scott Frost. For Herm Edwards, in 3 years, 17-13 overall, he's made 2 bowl games, and Scott Frost has made 0.
And upset Oregon last year, or
Yes.
2 years ago with Arizona State. So has easily the most impressive win of the two.
And I think that I think it's fair to say that Nebraska and Arizona State are kind of, when they took over, were in the same level kind of programs. Dan Mullen, obviously, he's going to get paid a little bit more at being at Florida in the SEC, $7.6 million through 2026. However, this is what his rankings are, or his record is. He was 21-5 in his first 2 years, 29-9 after last year. And the reason I split it up is from 2 years and 3 years is because of the COVID year, because sometimes people will use that as an excuse. And so I split it up that way. Dan Mullen's made 3 bowl games. And here's the kicker. He's never finished, the Florida Gators, while under Dan Mullen, have never finished ranked lower than 13th in the country. It's pretty impressive. For an extra $2.6 million a year, which when you're paying that much, that's not that much, right? That's quite exceptional.
I would say that there's probably no fan base / school in the country more happy to not have gotten their first option in a coaching search ever.
Yeah.
Because I think it's why it's known that Scott Frost was Florida's number 1 option. That coaching,
he was everybody's.
And if he hadn't insisted on taking his entire staff, he would be the coach at Florida right now, or would have been the coach at Florida for the last 2-3 years. So
I don't know if Florida would have had such a long leash.
I definitely not in the SEC, and I think mainly what's providing it at Nebraska is the buyout that you mentioned from the last 2 coaches, Bo Pelini, Mike Riley, the lack of success the program has seen over the last 10 years, and just the fact that he is from Nebraska has provided a significantly long leash. And then also on top of that, you also have to consider the financial ramifications of COVID and the fact that will play a role in the buyout with Scott Frost.
I suppose. Yeah, you're right. Now, here's another one. Oregon, Mario Cristobal, 4.5. So this was the one where he was already at Oregon. He was just promoted to head coach, I should say. Mario Cristobal, $4.5 million through 2026. So similar to Frost, just $500,000 less. Through 3 years, he's 25-9, and he's made 3 bowl games. Right? And the reason I put bowl games is because that's kind of what Nebraska's striving for now. I mean, right? That's what everybody wanted this season. And now I'll admit I was one of the many that said, "Oh yeah, Nebraska 7-5. There's definitely a path there, especially if they start 3-0." And Big Sky and I have gotten into that quite a bit, and so we don't need to worry about that again. Especially now because Big Sky's looking like a little smarter than I am. However,
I am not playing that card yet.
No,
there's still plenty of season to go.
Absolutely, that's the thing, and it's just now the water gets a little more murky in terms of a path to 6 or even 7 wins for Nebraska football. And there's a lot of unanswered questions that we'll talk about here in a little bit because Scott Frost spoke to the media a little bit earlier as well. So Mario Cristobal, 25-9 over 3 years, 3 bowl games. Jimbo Fisher now, that the guy that just got extended through 2031, $9.4 million a year through 2031. He's 26-10 over his 3 years. He's been to 3 bowl games, and he's won all 3 of those bowl games. Now, here's an interesting one that I found out today while I was updating this. Chip Kelly. He was obviously in the NFL, obviously at Oregon. Scott Frost was under him at Oregon. He's at UCLA currently. He's getting paid $4.6 million through 2022. They have not extended him at all. And that was one of the big, now I suppose back when Scott Frost got his contract extension, I saw this text coming in quite a bit after Illinois' game last week. was, man, I bet, Nebraska's really happy that they extended Scott Frost when they did and everything. Well, you have to understand that back then the hope was, and the anticipation was still extremely high for Scott Frost. And it also just shows a sense of, we're going to back this guy until things get really, really bad here.
Well, I think it's interesting that you mentioned bowl games as the expectation for Husker Nation, because I think you've seen a steady walk back in the expectation
Absolutely.
since 2018. 2018, it's get right over the next 1 to 2 years, be competing for Big Ten championships.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, it was just like, that was still kind of the expectation is, hey, get this right this year, and then next year, maybe not quite yet, but the year after that, year 4, competing for Big Ten championship. And then year 3, you really saw the swing towards, let's just go for a bowl game. But there was still kind of we're too good for the new era Pinstripe Bowl in New York.
Oh, yeah.
And now at this point, I think the Husker fans would take,
send me anywhere.
Yeah, literally anything you can call a bowl game, we want to be there.
Absolutely. And that's another whole thing is, man, how the drop in expectation. And that's just Husker fans being realistic. That's just people being realistic on the state of the program and we talked about it a little bit yesterday, the fragility of the program as well. So like I was saying, Chip Kelly, $4.6 million. They did not extend him after his initial contract with UCLA because the results just haven't been there. He's now he's 11-21 because they had that big win against Hawaii last week in week 0. However, hasn't been to a bowl game either. And yes, the interest levels that's out there in UCLA for UCLA football is not even close to what it is here in Lincoln. I'm not trying to compare the fan bases of UCLA and Nebraska because they're two drastically different types of fan bases. Lincoln is passionate, where if you watch a UCLA game and they're just playing a normal game at the Rose Bowl, it's maybe half full. It's probably a little over half full, but there's definitely quite a few open seats. It's what Nebraska's fans are fearing will eventually happen if Nebraska holds on to Scott Frost. I think that's fair to say. And so it's just interesting to see how programs and institutions decide to go different routes with their head coach depending on their program. Where Chip Kelly and UCLA, they were high on Chip Kelly when he brought him in. However, they never extended him, and now they're probably saying, you know what, thank goodness that we didn't, because as of right now, they might have to make a change either this year or next year. There's one more thing here, 402-464-5685. Sonner Heyman text line, Honda of Lincoln hotline. There's one more thing I want to get to before we get to break, and we'll talk about Scott Frost and Nebraska football on the other side. However, I was looking at this yesterday, and I was thinking to myself, who is the best coach on Nebraska's staff? In terms of, and this is where I want your guys' input. So go ahead and call in, text in. But this is where I want your guys' input on who is the best assistant coach on Nebraska football's roster or program. Is it Travis Fisher and this is kind of what I want you guys to take into account a little bit, is the talent that they've been able to keep there, the talent that they've pushed out and produced. Is it Sean Beckton? Jack Stoll made the roster for the 53-man roster for the Eagles. And obviously you have Austin Allen. He was able to get her help with Thomas Fedoni coming here, Travis Vokalek. I mean, I suppose you can throw Chris Hickman in there. And we'll wrap this up on the other side. I just want to list a couple for you guys and put some thoughts in your mind. Is it Greg Austin? You might laugh at me now because of the offensive line's performance. However, Matt Farniok's was pushing for a spot. Nick Gates is in the NFL, I believe. Brendan Hymus is an NFL caliber type of player. Is it Ryan Held, the JUCO recruiter? Brought in a ton of junior college talent. Now, however, it hasn't really panned out, but that's more on the coaching staff as the positions that they're recruiting and just development as a whole, which has been a problem for this staff. Is it Omar? I mean, because he's brought in Omar Manning, Greg Bell, two of the number one JUCO players. Dedrick Mills, Samori Toure. But like I said, when you're looking solely at the running back room, they haven't had really established running backs outside of Divine Ozigbo. Is it Travis Fisher? Strong defensive back group. Good recruiter from the southeastern part of the country. The first guy that comes to my mind, Jaden Francois, that whole big deal when he was making his college decision And it was Nebraska, but then it was, oh, wait, there's some rumors that Travis Fisher might be going somewhere else and leaving Nebraska. So Jaden Francois walked out. And that's when kind of Nebraska fans panicked. However, then Jaden Francois ended up leaving the program. But he's kind of been the only one that's really been rumored to take another job that has been pursued by other staffs. Obviously, there's Cam Taylor-Britt, cross-trading guys, Cam Taylor-Britt, Dismuke, Deontay Williams. And then I threw in Barrett Ruud. But then one that kind of flies under the radar, in my opinion, is Tony Tuioti, a guy from Cal. I remember when he got hired, it was, oh yeah, he's going to really open up that communication line to Hawaii because he's going to be able to, he has a lot of connections down in Hawaii. And so I remember he would take pictures and post them on Twitter with a hat, with a Nebraska hat, and he'd tell people where he's at. And so is Tony Tuioti, one of the better assistant coaches on this staff, with Damian Daniels, Ben Stilley, Casey Rogers, Ty Robinson, Damian Daniels, like I said. So who is the best staff or coach on this Nebraska football staff? We'll get to that and Scott Frost audio up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order a new John Deere combine during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs, then get it ordered. You can get your new John Deere combine built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Schaefer. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Partly cloudy skies expected for much of the day with a high temp of around 83. We will see a chance of scattered thunderstorms by this afternoon. A better chance of storms will move in this evening into tonight with a low down to around 67. Maybe some lingering showers and storms tomorrow morning, then clearing with a high of 79. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Oh, God.
Ow! Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Your home should not be a zoo to unwelcomed animals. Let the experts at Bats to Rats take care of those problems. Dane has been a leader in wildlife and pest management and prevention in Lincoln and the surrounding area for 15 years. He can help you get rid of bats, rodents, and anything else. Whether it's residential or commercial buildings, schools, apartments, or churches, they're always a phone call away. Call today at 402-310-0904 or visit batstoRats.com. Bats to Rats Wildlife Control and Prevention. Youth ice hockey registration is open now. New for 2021, the Lincoln Ice Hockey Association is offering 8 and under hockey for $75 with all equipment provided. No experience is needed, and the first 8-week season starts in mid-October. To register or for more information, go to lincolnhockey.org. $75 youth hockey with all equipment provided at lincolnhockey.org.
Are you sick of mindlessly running on a treadmill or the lack of motivation to consistently work out? Whatever your challenge, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping can help. Whether you want to lose weight, boost energy, or simply improve your overall health, you'll fit right in at Farrell's regardless of age or abilities. Build endurance with their kickboxing and strength training group fitness classes while also getting nutrition coaching. Try Farrell's now for a free week. Visit fxblincoln.com or call Jeff at 402-310-4026. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping.
Want to get a hot and perfect body fast? It's so easy. All you have to do is eat lots of bananas, but peels only, and always be sweating, but never look sweaty. That's disgusting.
Don't follow extreme routines. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness. Now through September 16th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime, and get back to a real routine with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join today for $1 down, $10 a month, and cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends September 16th. See Club for details.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When everything is changing, you need a store that's a constant. A store that has the brands your family loves and the value that you need. A store where you can stock up, pick up, and drive up. A store that's close to home and feels like home. A store that puts the health and safety of you and your family above all else. And a store that's always here to help. At Kohl's, we don't know what next year will look like. We just know that we'll be here for you no matter what. Kohl's, here today, here to stay. See store or Kohls.com for details.
You're listening to the Happy Hour. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary. The Ticket and the Ticket FM. The Ticket and the TicketFM.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, it's a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can hear that little glitch. Our system's just kind of glitching up a little bit there. Happened yesterday. But we're back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, TicketFM.com. Nick Sainert, Big Sky with you. Once again, sorry about that if you could hear that out there. System just glitched up. It happens. Technology's great, right? Before we get to some of the stuff about the coaching staff, a lot of reaction about grape. Cubsker, formerly Colin and Lincoln, says blue raspberry, bro. Screw grape. LOL. Mark Trumbo, busiest texter of the afternoon thus far. Imagine if grape actually tastes like grape flavored things. Yeah, that probably is what makes grape so great. And then let's see. Nikki Cuffs. That's coming back. Nikki Cuffs, the nickname. Have you ever had a grapple? It's an apple that they soak in grape concentrate of an apple with a strong grape flavor. I have not. If you want to bring that in, feel free. I am very open to trying anything grape flavored. I haven't found something that I don't like that's grape flavored. So
I feel like this might be a hot take, but I really liked grape things when I was a child. I think grape is a child taste. You need to graduate to the blue raspberries of the world.
Okay, I will graduate. Okay, so before the break there, I was asking the question about who Nebraska's best not coordinator necessarily, but position coaches. I figured to this point, the reason I didn't bring up the coordinators, Shenander and Lubick, is to this point, I kind of figured I knew which way everybody was going to go. The defense, they've had a better showing in recent games. I think that's just fair to say. So yeah, Shenander, I would definitely say that probably is more of a fan choice or just the more popular choice when you're looking at the coordinators as a whole. So yeah, Shenander, I suppose. Bear to Bears says screw grape banana flavored anything. Yeah, the Laffy Taffies. Those are the banana ones are the best ones. Either way. So an unnamed texter says it's definitely on the defensive side in terms of the position coaches. Jason says Fisher would be the best. Yeah, I think so, just because that's kind of the way I was leaning as well, solely on the fact that just the talent and those guys wanted to come back. The super seniors, I should say, wanted to come back. And you feel like there's probably a decent relationship there between Travis Fisher and his guys, and they really like what he's doing. And also, I mean, let's not forget, there's a lot of young talent in that room that, frankly, in other position groups, if there was young talent and they're not playing, they've transferred. And obviously there's other reasons why they've transferred and stuff that we don't really need to get into. But one of the guys I think of instantly is Noah Pula Gates, a high 4-star coming out of high school, hasn't played maybe a couple times on special teams. He's been here for a couple years, 3 years, because I think he came in with Wandale's class, with that 2019 class that is very much broken up now with Luke McCaffrey and Wandale and all them are gone. But he's still here.
Well, it's another player that comes in from a football lineage.
Yeah.
Troy Polamalu is his uncle. His brother plays at USC. Those are the kinds of guys you think are sure bets.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing is he's dealt with injuries, and I'm sure that he's going to be just fine. Like this week, we're going to talk about this weekend a little bit, and I'm sure that Noah Pula Gates will be out there, barring any injuries or setbacks. I just think that it's something about that the guys have a position coach when, they're still here after not being able to not see in the field in their first couple years. Tommy Gunn says the question is how many other universities will want them on their staff. The answer is probably Mike Dawson, which doesn't get him too excited. Yeah, I forgot to mention Mike Dawson, the outside linebackers. Yeah, you could even put Mike Dawson as the special teams guy if you want to go with special teams, coaching special teams a little bit. Let's see. Drumstick, tough question at this moment. He probably thinks Sean Becton. Tight ends have been solid the last 3 years. Yeah, with Jack Stoll and now Austin Allen, despite Austin Allen only having 2 receptions last game, I think that he is the more reliable guy on the offense right now over any receiver. Is that fair to say? There's a question. Is Austin Allen the most reliable receiver pass catcher on this Huskers offense?
Okay, when you qualify it, originally I thought you were going with is he the most reliable player on offense?
No, I don't think that.
Pass catcher? Are you really going to say that after Oliver Martin had the game that he had?
Oliver Martin had 11 targets. I mean, I understand that to a point that says that Adrian has good chemistry with Oliver Martin and the staff trusts Oliver Martin to run the plays. However, I still think Austin Allen's the most reliable guy. The most reliable pass catcher on this offense. Oliver Martin had 11 targets. He better have pulled in 6 of them.
I'm not going to agree with you simply because the preseason hype had Austin Allen as the most reliable pass catcher on the offense.
I'm not saying it's all the preseason hype either, though. I'm saying that also, if you take away Oliver Martin's big play, I need to look at how many yards he has. He had 103. If you take away his 43-yard completion,
he only has 60 yards.
60 yards in 5 receptions. And if you take away that whole pass play as a whole, so that takes away the target, he got 50% of his balls, 5 yards, 60 yards, or 5 receptions, 60 yards. If that's what makes sense.
I am not going to say that a guy who has 29 receptions on his entire career at Nebraska, his entire 4-year career at Nebraska, and has only gone over 100 yards in a single season one time in his career is the most reliable pass catcher at Nebraska.
So who is then? Are you saying Oliver Martin?
I don't think there is a reliable pass catcher on Nebraska's roster. I think Oliver Martin seems to be the early favorite to be the most reliable pass catcher, but he has also had an unproven career.
Yeah.
There are a lot of this is one of the reasons why I was so low on the Huskers going into the season, because there's a whole lot of question marks all over the offense. We don't know who the running back is. There's the receivers have all the potential in the world, but nothing proven. And I know it's easy to say, "Oh, it needs to be proven to me." I'm a bit of a doubting Thomas. I want to see to believe. But at this point in the Scott Frost tenure at Nebraska and my fanship of the Huskers, I'm not going to espouse and hype a guy for just being a potential great player. I want to see the great player before I call him a great player.
I suppose that makes sense. 402-464-5685. Unnamed texter says Oliver Martin's the 3rd leading receiver in the country right now. Yeah, I bet he is because of week 0. I bet he is. We're still getting stuff on the grape flavored, all that good stuff. All right, moving on here. Okay, so I guess we never answered that question in the original question. Who is the best position coach?
So now you have eliminated coordinators.
Yeah, I think eliminate coordinators from this.
Okay, then I'm probably going to go with Travis Fisher.
Okay,
simply because I think that his reliable. It's the word of the show, but the secondary is probably the most reliable unit. I didn't think there was a huge drop off subbing in Quentin Newsom for decap this last weekend. I didn't notice any noticeable step downs in their ability, and I still think that they're a big reason why the defense as a whole is having success. They were a big reason why the 3 sacks that Nebraska did have happened.
Yeah,
because they did seem like they were great plays by the defensive line. Those guys got through their blocks and ripped and spun their way out of their blocks beautifully, but they were still born because Brandon Peters and Stitkowski had to sit in that pocket for a long time, and they aren't the most mobile quarterbacks in the world. So the secondary was playing lockdown defense for a good portion of the game on Saturday. So I'm going to go with Travis Fisher.
And the reason I eliminated coordinators, I think, is because, Lubick's position coach is wide receivers, and I don't think anybody's picking that one yet. I have to get to this text here from Wet Blanket. I have to respect Wet Blanket. He always keeps me in line, keeps everybody here at the ticket in line. And so he goes, Nick, you are very talented, will do well. Don't buy into the talent that you have never seen. This is the cardinal sin of Husker fans. It's in 2019, it was the quote-unquote wide receiver weapons who are all behind Cade Warner in the 2018 depth chart. In 2020, it was Omar Manning and Xavier Betts, who combined for 12 catches and 1 touchdown. This season, it's the O-line, who can't run the ball. DBs, who allowed Rutgers to go 11 of 12, and a tight end, who combined to have 1 touchdown. Trust your eyes, not your ears. Here's the thing. Here's my response to that. Is I truly believe that there is unproven talent. I agree with you there, man. I agree with you, Wet Blanket. There's so much unproven talent on the offense. And I admitted Monday afternoon, I should say, on my show, I admitted that I was completely wrong about Adrian Martinez. Actually, I admitted on the student section on Sunday with Big Sky that I was completely wrong about Adrian Martinez. I thought he was going to go out and have a very good game, and he missed a lot of his receivers, and we've delved down that hole and everything. And just because there's unproven talent doesn't mean there's no talent at all. I should say that. I want to make that clear. And then that's where it kind of goes on to the coaching staff is what's the reason that the talent isn't playing? And maybe it's because the guys just aren't ready and they're not being consistent in practice, which Scott Frost talked about today. And I guess that could be a good segue. We might take a little bit of an early break here. And on the flip side, we'll get to Scott Frost. But yeah, no, I appreciate you, Wet Blanket. Keep sending them in.
I just like to address something that Wet Blanket followed up his text with, kind of saying the secondary was terrible on Saturday. And he's incorrectly says that Sitkowski went 11 for 12 for 2 touchdowns. He did go 12 for 15 with 2 touchdowns. But the big thing that I like to key on, and this is going to be the hardest assignment for any secondary, is the types of routes that Illinois was having their wide receivers run. They were all timing routes. So Sitkowski was getting the ball out quick, and there are a lot of crossing routes. So they're difficult routes to cover, and they're easy ones to complete. They weren't really pushing the ball downfield, and that's because our secondary was locking that down. So I was not impressed with Illinois' quarterback play at all. And I don't think it was the defense/secondary that ended up losing the game to Illinois. It was absolutely offensive blunders and special teams that lost the game on Saturday. And I don't think the defense and secondary should bear a whole ton of guilt in the loss that happened on Saturday.
402-464-5685, Honda of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. We have about 15 minutes left in the show. We'll get to some of Scott Frost's comments, talking about some younger guys that might be able to get a chance to play, as well as a little bit into Fordham. And we'll also pick some college football games tonight. We'll wrap up the happy hour next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Want to get a hot and perfect body fast? It's so easy. All you have to do is eat lots of bananas, but peels only, and always be sweating, but never look sweaty. That's disgusting.
Don't follow extreme routines. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness. Now through September 16th, join for just $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. And get back to a real routine with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join today for $1 down, $10 a month, and cancel anytime. Hurry, deal ends September 16th. See club for details.
Lay the groundwork for more harvesting capacity when you order a new John Deere combine during Landmark Implement's early order program. Whether you're looking to improve your existing combine or you've been wanting to update to a new model year, now is the time to upgrade. Get the very latest harvesting equipment and technology that fit your operations needs, then get it ordered. You can get your new John Deere combine built just the way you want. Contact your local Landmark Implement for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
One host has a red beard and thinning hair. The other also has a red beard and thinning hair. One host got married over the summer. So did the other one. One is a diehard fan of a sub-500 AL Central baseball team. So is the other. Can these two radio hosts do a show together without getting confused as to their own identity? The same couple. Happer and Shaper. Weekday mornings from 8 to 11 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Take a look at your backyard. Does it feel like something is missing? You're right. Now is the perfect time to get an above-ground swimming pool from Bonsall Pool and Spa. Above-ground pools require less space than in-ground pools, are temporary structures if you ever choose to move, and are low maintenance. Plus, you'll never have to worry about the kids getting bored in the summertime anymore. Visit bonsallpool.com to schedule a pool service or visit them at 33rd and Highway 2. Bonsall Pool and Spa.
What are you doing, Sip?
I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives.
So you're building what exactly?
It's a motion-censored switchboard. Duh.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course. Ow! God! Ow!
Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Another packed fall season means it's time to get to N Street Drive-In to fill up on all your beverage needs. Right now, they have tons of Oktoberfest beers, and you can check out their Cosmic Eye and Glacial Till selections as their beers of the month. Also, make sure to download the new N Street Drive-In app to order online and to set up delivery right to your front door. And don't forget their top-notch Crowler fill system. N Street Drive-In, your one-stop beverage shop at 1801 Oak Street.
Liberty First Credit Union is here to help you save time and money. Get a consolidation loan and conveniently combine all of your loans into one, leaving you with one fixed payment and one low-rate loan. Not a member? That's okay. Join Liberty First Credit Union at any of the 4 Lincoln locations, Seward, and in Omaha at 108th and L Street. Start saving with Liberty First Credit Union. Apply for a consolidation loan now at libertyfirstcu.com today. Approval required. Equal opportunity lender. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Angry about a recent Nebraska football loss? Go throw axes at Kraft Axe Throwing. Optimistic about the upcoming Nebraska football game? Go sign up for free football tickets at Kraft Axe Throwing. Bring some friends, reserve a bay for an hour or more, release anger at the targets by hucking an axe at it, and walk away feeling better about yourselves and the football season just in time to enter for a chance to win a free pair of tickets to the next home game as you walk out the door. Reserve your lane online at craftaxethrowing.com or call 402-802-9696. Kraft Axe Throwing at 18th and N in Lincoln.
Now back to the happy hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here one final time on the happy hour. Nick Sainert, Enrique Alvarez, Big Sky with you. Holy cow. Big Sky is with me today.
I wish I had the shirt game of Rico.
The Patagonia looks good, man.
The Patagonia.
Patagonia looks good. I almost wore my Patagonia this morning.
I wear pretty much just like
Big Sky stuff.
Patagonia. Yeah.
Big Sky stuff. Let's get to this text on the text line from Taylor. So if passes are that easy to complete, why don't we do it? Is our offensive play calling is just so poor that we can't get guys open quick enough, or our Illinois receivers are just that much more talented? Good point, Taylor. Very valid question. It's definitely not the latter. It's definitely not the Illinois receivers are better than Nebraska's. because they were without six of their receivers on Saturday. So I don't want to use that. So I think, that's just, and in response to a text from 2098, just listen on Sundays. It's me and Big Sky from 9 to 10 a.m. on the student section.
Except Nick runs the board, so.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Big Sky leads the student section on Sundays. I'll run the board, and here on the happy hour, whether it's Big Sky or Rico, I lead it.
And I have to get my degree.
I do as well.
I gotta go to French class.
Of course.
I'm normally not available at this time.
Yes, Big Sky's normally not available. Okay, let's move on here. A couple minutes left. Let's get to some of the things Scott Frost said. Obviously, offensive line was a big problem on Saturday, and he was asked what he wants to see from those guys this Saturday against Fordham.
I want to see consistency up front. When you watch the tape from Saturday, there's a bunch of plays where 4 guys got it right and 1 guy didn't, and that hurt us. So it's just got to be a little more consistent. I think playing together and have everybody healthy is going to help with that. So there's a funny or an interesting part there, having everybody healthy. Now, there was talks going into the game that Corcoran was banged up a little bit, and we never really found out, I don't think, that if Corcoran was 100% going into Illinois. But either way, those 2 guys, Brant Banks and Turner Corcoran, rotated in and out at left tackle. And I said that a couple days ago that maybe that's in part of, Martinez just looking flustered back there, especially after he took a big hit early on from his backside, just not trusting whoever's there. Also, when you're switching guys in and out every single possession, it's hard to build camaraderie or just that trust factor. Now, I'm not saying that Adrian needs to have a free pass on what happened Saturday, but I'm saying there are other things involved in the play other than just him just missing his targets, which happened. And so it'll be interesting to see this Saturday if, they choose to rotate the guys at left tackle, if it's Corcoran for the most part, or if it's Brant Banks. Like I said a couple days ago as well, and I'll revisit this conversation here real quick. There was talks that Brant Banks was just good enough to play, and that's why we see him. However, you can look at it both ways, as both those guys are talented enough to play, or you can look at it the more dangerous, more uneasy side of things and say maybe one of those guys just isn't taking the job. And so this will be definitely a chance for young guys to shine. Scott Frost talked about it earlier today as well. And here's him talking about the young guys getting them some opportunities. Yeah, we got a lot of young guys that are on the cusp of being ready to play and giving us more help and giving us more reps. We're going to try to get a lot of guys in the game early and give guys an opportunity to make plays.
Yeah, so maybe you see guys like Braxton Clark, like we talked about, Noah Pula-Gates, I said a couple minutes ago, still in that defensive back room. And since Travis Fisher cross-trains all of his guys, maybe they're comfortable enough putting him somewhere where it's not his primary position necessarily. Behind the defensive line, Jordan Riley's a name that I instantly think about. We'll see if Casey Rogers is able to make an appearance, even though he didn't travel last week to Illinois. There's a lot of guys. Outside linebackers are kind of that nickel spot where kind of a JoJo Doman, you have Javen Wright or Buddha, as his nickname is. And so there's a lot of opportunities. And then on the offensive side of the ball, everybody's screaming to bench Martinez. Maybe you get to see a backup quarterback, and maybe you get to see Logan Smothers or in a game situation, not an open practice or a spring game situation. And, some of those, maybe you get to see some of those wide receivers that quote unquote weren't consistent enough, or Sevion Morrison. And so that's where it's like kind of exciting this week. And this is what you can kind of, I guess, go in with the mindset of and go into thinking about this Saturday with a game against Fordham, is that maybe you'll finally get to see guys like Xavier Betts or Alante Brown run the plays like and spread the field a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of that coming up. And we say it every single week, and it's obviously, we sound like a broken record saying it every single week, but you just have to feel like at some point they need to. Like, something's got to give, man. It's unbelievable. And so, yeah, that's where it's going to, especially with the backup quarterback discussion, nobody knows what they have behind Adrian. And so it's going to be interesting to see if there's a guy behind him that can deliver a good ball. There's one more clip in there about a pretty strong message that they were able to send on Monday, and he feels like the guys received it well.
Yeah, we had a pretty strong message for him on Monday. Same message we've had, but about not making mistakes, about doing little things right, about details. Thought the message really got through. Sometimes you can tell them all you want until something similar happens, and then you really got their ear. But a lot of guys that needed to be more consistent were more consistent this week.
So take that for as you want. And, if you're in the boat of, oh, I'm not believing that, then that's fine because you haven't seen it yet. And I get that. But if you're on the boat of maybe this week, Nebraska goes out and throws a strong performance, heck yeah, let's do it. Also, Nebraska, I think, is still a 40-plus point favorite. How confident are we that Nebraska's offense can score 40?
Oh, I'm taking Fordham on that all day.
Oh, Fordham's going to cover.
Oh, absolutely.
Interesting.
That's an insanely high spread. How many times have we seen the Scott Frost offense
You're
score
absolutely
40
right.
points?
And that's what I was saying.
I think
who knows?
Was it Northern Illinois the one time? Or maybe
No,
they got
there's
it
been a
against
couple.
Minnesota as
Minnesota,
well.
Maryland. There's been a couple.
Yep.
They've gotten close, I think.
Question for the text line, because I don't know. Has Nebraska ever covered a 40-point spread? Like in the Scott Frost era, have they ever beat a team by 40 points?
Have they ever been favored by 40 points?
I'm sure not in the Scott Frost era.
Not in the Scott Frost era.
Maybe against Bethune-Cookman. Maybe against Akron.
Maybe. I should look up that spread for against Bethune-Cookman here. We have about a minute and a half left here, if that. And so I'm going to look up Bethune-Cookman. Also, the college football season games really start going tonight. Rutgers, they had to push their first sellout to Saturday at noon, and because of some flooding out there. And so they will not play tonight anymore. So now the first game of the season is Ohio State and Minnesota. So Big Sky, who are you taking on that one? Ohio State, Minnesota. Minnesota's a 14-point underdog.
That's pretty easy Ohio State for me.
You're thinking Ohio State covers
by 14?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was an interesting thing today. I was telling you about it right before the show started, that Ohio State has the top receiver in the 2020 class, 2021. They have the number 1 and 2 receivers in the country this year. They have Marvin Harrison Jr. and they have a 5-star receiver coming in as well as a true freshman. Absolutely insane. And somewhere in that mix, former Nebraska football commit Cameron Brown.
And can't forget $1.4 million man Quinn Ewers.
Yes,
at
quarterback, who's not even starting for him. So that's all for today. Big Sky, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. We'll look forward to Fordham tomorrow, and we'll talk to you guys on Friday. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. See you later.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music.